They say at WhatCulture, everyone's got a gimmick. An eel. A drink. A podcast that can be controlled. But the great ones, they use it to their advantage. They own it. They've got them right where they want them. The rest just haven't figured it out yet.
See, guys, anything's possible in the pyramid.
So, Uno!
Wait, are we not playing poker?
Well, this didn't work. Do you go back to Vegas?
Yeah?
Okay.
Welcome back to fabulous WhatCulture Mania Las Vegas. 4 nights, free entry. You'll be getting WrestleMania ups and downs live in the Luxor Hotel and Casino, and start spreading the news because we're bringing Raw and SmackDown watch parties to New York, New York. Plus, there will be even more huge announcements coming soon, so sign up and be the first to know.
Yes, anything really is possible in the pyramid.
Hello and welcome to the AEW Dynamite review. We are the Dudley Boys of WhatCulture. I'm Adam Wilbourn, joined by Michael Hamflett, Michael Sidgwick, here to review everything that happened on last night's episode of AEW Dynamite. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review AEW Dynamite, but also Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. Pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a very good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, they're joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick, wearing their colours today to review last night's AEW Dynamite.
2 quick notes very quickly before I give overarching thoughts on AEW Dynamite last night. 1, it is my tradition every single time Newcastle pick up a cup win or 3 points to wear this top. He knew it and he's ripped us off, so I'm not happy with that. Secondly, this might run a little bit shorter than usual because literally the second we came into the studio to start recording, there was a false fire alarm in this building, which would never have happened in Gateshead.
It's also my fault because I've got to rush off to a family thing. But doesn't matter. What did you make of last night?
No, I'm going to push back on that first. And then I'll cut down my Dynamite thoughts. It's fine. Mr. Dad made a promise to his kids that if he got 38 points, because they said, "Oh, why do you never wear your Sunderland shirt?" And I was like, "Well, there's 2 reasons. One is I'm fair ace in it. The other is that I kind of don't want to jinx it. 38 was the big thing all season, and we did it. We got 40 points.
Wow.
But right before we started recording, it occurred to me that there's it's nice to be harmonious sometimes, just a little bit, because I would say, I know you've had your ups and downs of the season, shall we say, but I would say a pretty great season for Sunderland. Lots of arguments to say a pretty great season for Newcastle United, regardless of your thoughts on the league. How far are you along in the Champions League? Are you still in the FA? You got semi-final of defending your league card?
Great. You overuse the word great.
That's fair enough.
It's not a great season by any stretch.
But keeping it harmonious before Darby on the horizon, don't even think about that. Nice that Sunderland, safe, Newcastle could go even further than Champions League. Things are good. Yeah. Things are good in the North East, while West Ham and Spurs, ginormous Cockney arsehole clubs, and the Scabs of Nottingham are fighting for scrapes down the bottom of the table. It hasn't looked like this in a long time. And I'll keep that spirit of harmony going, because I like this Dynamite.
Hey!
It's recovered from last week, IMO. So it's twice that much.
I thought it was really strong. Second in a row. I thought it was really, really strong. It peaked at the start for me. There was nothing on the show I would describe as bad. And I always say, you have a really great pro wrestling experience and you get a bit of recency bias and you cannot be talked down from this opinion that you hold. And I got a bit of it very early.
I was furious with this show, but we'll get into why a little bit later on. You can probably guess why. Let's start.
Not really.
Why? There you go. We'll get into that because, the show opened with the AEW World title on the line. MJF versus Trios champion, for now at least, Kevin Knight. Early on, despite the fact we've seen Kevin Knight for, how long has he been with AEW now?
Around a year?
Yeah, I thought so. Despite that fact, MJF hit an arm drag early on and went, "No, to do one of those." Yes, he does. Yeah, obviously he's too cocky. Kevin Knight takes over. Hits several arm drags, very good, and some shoulder blocks into some near falls. MJF cheap shots him, of course, plays to the crowd. So Knight turns around and stomps him out, goes for a very early UFO splash, but there's no one there. And MJF fights back using his thrust to the face, let's call it. I heard somewhere he called it the bris recently.
I like that.
Shows his cock in the face. MJF runs into a corner boot, though, and Knight hits a flying clothesline off the second rope into a double down. MJF does I always think of Orange Cassidy for some reason now, the slow roll to the outside, but Knight takes him out with a tope suicida, clearing the top rope. He also hits MJF with a thrust kick to the outside and does a mad clothesline to the floor to take us to a break. When we come back, Knight's being sent ribs first into the barricade, and MJF is trash talking the crowd. But Knight dodges and hits a moonsault off the guardrail. Goes up top, gets crotched. MJF joins him up there, but again, takes too long, gets caught in the tree of woe, and Knight runs over to the other side and hits a coast-to-coast and a UFO splash, but a wily old MJF kicks the referee into the ropes as this is all happening, throat first. So Bryce takes his time doing the cover. So he had him covered for a 3 count, but obviously MJF kicks out at 2. The Knight goes up for another UFO splash, but MJF gets his knees up, hits the Heat Seeker, 1, 2, 3. Post-match, as we talked about in the preview, he looked like he was going to bloody him up using the beautiful diamond ring. But Hangman Page shows up, and Speedball Mike Bailey's in the ring and nails MJF with a kick, and helps his friend up as MJF scrambles away.
Thought this was a wonderful, wonderful pro wrestling match, the likes of which you don't really see enough. Again, like, wrestling discourse is so poisoned and people are how they are that I always feel like I need to caveat what I'm about to say, because if I say something like, I don't think there's enough emphasis on selling in pro wrestling, and maybe a lot of that is in AEW these days. Generally, you get confused for Rip Rogers, and Jim Cornette and, all the rest of it. But, like, you do watch old wrestling and think, there was a bit more of that.
Mm-hmm.
There just was. Kevin Knight in this match I thought was exceptional. Exceptional. I love the story told. I wish the fans got the arm drag thing a little bit more at the start. So you got the big pop when he would have got an amazing double pop if they'd really emphasized because it all stems from MJF and his lifelong grudge against New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that's obviously where Kevin Knight made his name. And, in MJF's mind, it's an indie fed, and they don't know how to do anything down there. Not even a simple arm drag. If this was really explicitly emphasized as a story beat, you would have got them. And, they wanted the double pop. They didn't quite get it. But the pop from the arm drag, and then that beautiful bit of pro wrestling when MJF was like, I'll show you how to do one, actually does it. Kevin Knight rolls through and then arm drags him. You would have got that double pop. Didn't quite get the double pop, but I thought it was a beautiful bit of storytelling and athletic ingenuity nonetheless. As the match progressed, I got really, really, really pulled into it because Kevin Knight, there's substance there. The recency bias I spoke of in the intro, this is what I'm talking about. I know the temptation. Whenever a wrestler who clearly has immense gifts and is young and isn't stigmatized in the way that someone like maybe a Darby Allin is at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
When a young wrestler who hasn't yet been stigmatized as, they're great, but didn't really make it to that level, and now they're just kind of around. Kevin Knight isn't there yet, thank God. So when you get a wrestler who's not overexposed and they enter a performance like this, and it's on the back of several other really strong standout performances, the temptation is they're a main event talent. At the grand old age of 40, I've learned to go, not always, if it happens, it happens. I'm done investing on the ground floor with so many wrestlers. It's just a lifetime of experience, really, or a half lifetime. This is, I don't care if it's recency bias or not. He comes across in his promos like he's the business, like he's got loads of charisma. He's really likable. and my God, there's substance to his in-ring performances. Yes, he's spectacular. Yes, that vaulting clothesline over the top rope is ridiculous.
Yeah.
How he can sort of like the wingspan,
Yeah.
and how he doesn't crumple at the end. It's just it's his vertical leap. It's when to do it. All of this is impressive, but there was so much substance to his performance here, and his selling is genuinely really, really good. Stirring, pulls me in. And a quick note on MJF. Obviously, Kevin Knight was great in this match, but we are talking about Kevin Knight because MJF has done his job perfectly as champion to showcase the opponent, elevate them to that level. But it was just, yes, he cheated. Yes, it's MJF. He's a heel. He's going to do that. But a quick note on a guy who had very difficult public and almost damning growing pains in 2023 because it coincided with declining gait and the mess the company was in. Obviously, it wasn't his fault. It's Tony Khan and MJF and CM Punk, but 2023 was always going to be difficult, coincided with his reign, the growing pains. He has evolved into, like, that guy. I know they made a specific point, very pointed as well. Both wrestlers here in this world title match are under 30. Thought that was, I know why they were really pushing that one. But my God, he doesn't wrestle like it. He wrestled here like a very mature, elegant, bona fide world champion.
Yeah, like I was going to start with that about MJF's elevation of Kevin Knight here, but just within the middle of the match, let alone what it might do long term, because I've got a thought that's like eating away at the back of my mind on this. Like MJ, I firmly believe this, especially this version of it. I agree with you about 2023 and the various difficulties. AEW's its best self with MJF on top. Like, it really is. I love this run as a redemption run for him, as something back in the face of the people that were, like, on him specifically for what was wrong with AEW when I think they were, like, looking for a bit of a scapegoat,
Yeah.
And, yes, there were lots of problems with that title reign, but I don't think they were the problems with AEW fundamentally. And we've talked before about Tony Khan's, or a booker and a wrestler's, collaborative abilities with different wrestlers. Tony Khan's and MJF's is very good, even when it's indulgent, in my opinion, because I think nights like this are a reminder why you indulge in a guy like MJF. And this year, and this title picture, is why you indulge a guy like MJF, because I think when he gets it and when his ideas are allowed to be fleshed out, and I think this title scene looks to me, just, as a fan, let alone like somebody trying to analyze this, as the result of positive collaboration between both Tony Khan and his world champion. This feels like the two things really in lockstep. This constant idea that there is a secondary challenger and a primary challenger. This idea that MJF has kind of got the world against him, but knows how to deal with that, when push comes to shove. I really hope Revolution draws, because I think to have Hangman Page win would be an absolute crime. They have set up the stakes in which Hangman Page cannot lose, but I think it would be insane to have him win. That's perfect for a pay-per-view main event.
Yeah.
That is perfectly poised. This MJF character is only just finding himself now. Like, look at all he's done already in this relatively short title reign. It feels longer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It feels longer than like just...
That might be a tell.
Maybe.
Yeah,
He's
we
trying to get
don't
things
know.
done. But to me, it's like, well, we're just getting started. This is brilliant. You've got Wembley on the horizon, which is like the easiest top babyface, top heel match to book as a main event that, even though predictable, is probably what the majority of people buying the ticket want, So that's great. I wonder, last week when I said, I praised that Kevin Knight bit of business for the idea of like, are they lining up MJF's first post Hangman Page? He's perfect for that. And then they've done it. The speed ran it this week. Is there any way that, to Sidge's point a bit about Kevin Knight as a babyface, and this was great, let's not waste him, whatever. Well, was this just the peak? Is there any way that he's part of the reason Hangman loses and he turns heel? Like, if we just seen the peak of this mini Kevin Knight babyface run, and then the way that you actually maximize his star power is to turn a bit. I'm thinking Rock in 1998, right? This babyface breaking through. Let's turn him heel. Let's get 6 more months out of that bitch, and then the fans want him even more as a babyface. I'm not saying Kevin Knight's the Rock, but the point I'm thinking is here: have we just witnessed the
Do you
artistic,
like waffles?
the artistic peak of the Kevin Knight babyface run could be here? Like, the team with Mike Bailey was always destined to just be more fun than something that was going to be long-term. The Hangman Page relationship need not exist after Revolution. Like, have they done this match now so that he figures in a different way?
It's funny you should say that, and I think you might have made an excellent point conditionally.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Thank you. It was very curious that they pinned him twice in the same night.
Yeah.
They did not need to do that. Obviously, they're not pinning Hangman.
Yeah.
So,
Like, whilst everybody's buzzing about him, you keep the buzz alive. You just change you change people's expectations and you subvert it. The last time we had the stipulation, it was a result of a friend turning on a friend in MJF and Cody.
because
Like,
getting pinned twice on your breakthrough night is something a heel can use as ammo to just cut him down to size. And maybe it wasn't an accident because it felt like a strange decision for me, but you might have made sense of it. What a lovely, refreshing pro wrestling match this was. Like, didn't want to be a banger, but was great because of the story being told. The Express story wasn't, this match is going to be great.
We followed that up with Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin versus the Dogs. Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors. I only discovered they were called the Dogs today. So.
No, they're not, they're called the Dogs.
dogs are all elite.
Not in my house. Cassidy and Allin jump them in the entranceway. Kidd, though, steps up the ring steps next to the timekeeper's table. Cassidy saves Darby, and Darby launches Connors with a shotgun dropkick into the LED board, but misses the follow-up, and Connors pounces Darby Allin into the railing. Kidd brings Orange Cassidy up the steps and just hangs him there with like a guillotine choke, and then Clark Connors runs from out of frame, spear off the steps through the table, and then the bell ring and the match starts. Darby Allin gets hit with a huge lariat and Fisherman's Buster. And Cassidy's getting checked by the doctor as we go to a break. When we come back, Darby's in trouble, but he eventually gets the hot tag to Cassidy because he comes in and does his little kicks and little strikes to the Dogs.
Jesus Christ.
Plants them with a double Hurricane Rana. A top rope crossbody to Gabe Kidd. Connor spins out of a DDT but eats a PK and a beach break for 2. Kidd breaks the count and then just nails Allin on the apron. Kidd blocks a stun dog but is in position for Darby Allin to fly in there with a code red. Cassidy takes out Kidd with a tope suicida and Allin hits Connors with a over-the-top stunner. Spinning DDT from Cassidy. Coffin drop from Darby Allin onto the outside, onto the pile. And Darby chucks Clark Connors back inside for the orange punch for the 1-2-3. As they are celebrating, though, wham! They are nailed in the back.
Wallop.
Darby Allin and Cassidy hit with a
Came up
shillelagh.
yesterday, so it's get on board with it.
I'm in.
Good. Because, you know, when we score free kicks on Roberto Baggio's free kicks.
Yeah.
I say, wallop. Yeah.
They are hit from behind with a shillelagh. Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy, because the newest AEW signing, David Finlay, is there. Kidd and Connors lift Allin up to get hit in the face. And, the Dogs stand tall.
I'll do match and then Finlay chat. The match I thought was a lot more fun than I expected it to be. They really thought about a way to draw me in beyond. These are 4 good wrestlers having a bit of a mid-card nothing feud. There's 10 minutes, off you go. Like, they thought about it, added a bit of peril, a bit of excitement. Just a uniquely structured, enjoyable match. You can tell by my tone that I'm not doing cartwheels over it, but you know, whatever. Still, like, better than I thought it was going to be. And it's these 4 on a Dynamite card. Like, it's going to be good, right? I don't have much to say other than that. So I'm just going to straight into Finlay. This is his level. The pop was... New Japan isn't what it was. Sick of people telling me it's back, by the way. Why don't you just shut up and wait for 6 months
Yes.
before declaring it back? It isn't. How's the Wolfman working out for you?
Yeah. Screwed up, didn't they? Second match.
Oh, it's getting worse and worse, apparently.
Good. Right, okay. I'm back at now. He misses evil.
Keeps losing. It's just give it 6 months of being good before you declare it back, right? Calm down. Calm it down. So, because it isn't what it was, and even if you don't watch it regularly, religiously, whatever, you can tell by the way that Forbidden Doors kind of evolved. You know, New Japan isn't what it was. So it's not necessarily a reflection of David Finlay himself that he didn't get that. Jesus Christ, David Finlay's here, pop, but neither did he get it. This is his level, I think, for now. The leader of a mid-card stable that's going to occupy the same space as Bullet Club Gold did before they turned face or whatever. He's a very, very, very good pro wrestler as David Finlay. And you'll notice I hesitate to use the word great. I don't think he has that arena-sized charisma to truly become an actual star. I don't think it's a huge, massive, necessary get for them. But, you know, we've been here before with AEW where they'll sign someone. I mean, we've just put them over in the very first match where they sign someone not too huge, you know, Danielson Punk-sized fanfare, and that they eventually take the opportunity, they'll graft and graft and graft, and they will get elevated. Like, I remember when Swerve Strickland signed, and it was like, and he himself was like, yeah, they're not getting the biggest pop here or whatever. He didn't say that, but he was like, trust me, I'll make it to the main event. I know everyone says that, but I will. And he did. I don't know, he didn't have that commanding presence of like, like, I'm going to not swear. Oh, because I know you're busy after this, right? He didn't have that, like, I'm here to take over presence about him. And, you know, if AEW has a deficit in anything, it is not really strong in-ring wrestlers. So I know I was a bit unmoved by it, but he could surprise us. He could surprise me. The dude is really, really good when he's on.
Yeah, stuff just gets over sometimes, doesn't it? Like, I was glad he signed for AEW, personally. Like, I think this is a better fit. I don't know what fit. You can't bury people right out of the gate. I got in trouble with
Finlay
that.
fit,
Elio LaFleur. But, like, sorry?
Finlay fit, maybe? He's just talking about best fits.
Yeah.
If you think about his dad and flip that name around.
Is he a fit, Finlay? Sorry.
That's both decent.
No, both
like,
crap. Both crap.
I disagree. I think you both did well there. Like, I didn't want him to go to NXT, really.
That's right. We're right there, waiting for him.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? It was, to be fair to him, he did seem to orchestrate a situation in which both products booked for his arrival.
Yes.
Fair play to David Finlay for that. Like, but it's just, stuff works. We were talking just about Danhausen, like a weird signing that can suddenly just be fine. This didn't get a great reaction. He's
on an otherwise really hot night as well.
He's going to be the top dog, presumably, like the leader of this group.
He's in the middle and the other two are stood to the
This is
side.
it. So he'll be given the profile a bit, even though he doesn't really look like he warrants it yet, because, you know, he's not earned it like the other two have. And with Sidge on the match, I think it's as good as this feud's going to get, which is less than ideal because Finlay arriving means it's going to go out and they're probably going to add more people to it.
Cassidy said stuff later, didn't he? And I assume something's going to be on Revolution.
Yeah.
I would just do Finlay Darby.
Yeah.
What do you got, kid?
No, I think he's landed in the right spot, genuinely. I don't know what the ceiling is. Could be pretty low, but, like,
he's really good when he's good.
Yeah, and AEW's there for that as well.
He's like a much better Seth Rollins.
Low ceiling pro wrestlers surprising you and putting the collision runs together or getting the Dynamite promotion or like having a bit of a year later. Like Knight's a great example. Yeah, having a run that's suddenly like they've actually really impressed me over the last few weeks. He could be the next one, you know.
He's buzzing about this, by the way. You can tell.
I'm buzzing how it's gone. You know,
is that freaking bad?
No, I'm just saying, like,
precious NXT or the sanctity of NXT is going to be ruined by the guy who would walk in probably is their best in-ring performer by miles.
Look, grand scheme of things this week, the way
what
it's
are we
played
doing
out,
here?
right?
It's NXT.
The way it's played out, Danhausen, like all the way back in one night, Jericho still frozen, and David Finlay on AEW. Good week.
Pieces are fitting where they
good week. Yeah, good week.
Renee Paquette is
good week outside of there. That absolutely atrocious WWE produced main event segment. And my God, that Ricky Saints thing wasn't much better.
About Punk and Roman?
Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
What?
We'll get onto it another time.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Should we have a chat before our Q&A pod, which we can take this opportunity to plug?
Yeah, we'll be doing a Q&A. What, or during the pod maybe even?
I just want to start off with our thoughts, because I missed the Raw review, didn't I?
You didn't like it?
Yeah. Not many others did either, you know. Divisive it was.
I thought I was the nerd out of the two. Go on your geek back. You didn't like it? That's sickening. Oh, yeah, later. Yeah, it's not Dynamite related. That's fair.
Look at you.
You're gross to me.
You're sick in the head.
You're sick full stop if you didn't like that, mate.
Getting
What
back to
Bobbins
it.
wrestling have we got next when even like Mondays?
Put
Proper main
him
event
in a
start.
mood.
I've gone off Dynamite. Sorry, guys. If that's how we're judging things now on what's good and what's bad. I guess this was total trash. Actually, no. Yeah. What?
We'll get on to it. I'm looking forward to it.
Renee Paquette is
Medication for
backstage with
PDS. Jesus.
Bandido and Andrade El Ídolo talking about Revolution.
You said Punk Balor at Elimination Chamber was the match of the year.
Did really
It was
like
a Cope versus Pac ass match.
my match of the year.
Cope versus Pac was yours last year, was it?
No.
Oh, it should have been on. If you're consistent.
You're consistent, all right. I should have seen this one coming. God.
I've liked some of the stuff though, haven't I? So.
Renee is backstage with Bandido and Andrade talking about Revolution. Nice bit from Bandido. I'm looking forward to this. It means a lot to me. I looked up to Andrade when I was younger. This would be a dream come true. Andrade's just a bell end. I mean, he's one of the best wrestlers alive, but what do you want, a fight or a selfie? I mean, don't ask that. I'm busy. Got a phone call. See you later.
So
He's
good.
class, isn't he?
He's good, isn't he?
So good.
And this is the David Finlay effect I've
Yep.
just been talking about. A wrestler who I would categorize as really strong in the ring on his best night, don't really care, suddenly develops this act, this bit, this momentum, and suddenly they're great. So
He was Pandrade in WWE, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You were like, this is
yeah.
thanks everybody. There's never another good run coming. The matches will never be what they were those 3 times. It's done. I've loved every bit of this. Like
I will say there's one question on this Q&A that's come in, right? That me and you are going to love talking about. So if it gets too feisty, just know we'll have a peace treaty.
got like that. Excellent.
Um,
I'm desperate to know your answer on it,
Oh,
but we'll get there.
then came the first of 2 women's matches on this show.
Mhm.
But as Sidge called, it was a squash.
Square hoosh, come on, Tony. We know you.
I don't know what to say about this. It was the Brawling Birds. If you like them, I suppose. Jamie Hare and Alex Windsor.
Windsor!
No. I said on the news, what a sad little life, Alex Windsor and Jamie Hayter. Because they were taking on the Inspiration in their debut in AEW, on telly at least. Jessie McKay and Cassie Lee. Brawling Birds come out first.
do you know they've been wrestling in TNA all this time?
I made this exact point yesterday.
Out of the 2 big promotions, this was their
Right.
on-screen debut for AEW. They show
It's a
the
lot of caping for an act that have been there.
And
You could-
he goes on like they had that CM Punk 7-year hiatus. They're
yeah.
finally back.
One of those free from a cage things that we got. Or was it Mox that did that, or free from a prison cell?
He was in a prison.
That was
He was
it.
running away from big dogs.
Yes.
Who was the most recent one?
Danhausen.
That was the genie. Yeah, the genie thing.
The wrestlers love it, man, honestly. And they out of the prison in which it was beautiful time wage.
For doing nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Inspiration. They
Prison
show the
for free
promo
lunch.
from earlier on in the day, saying that the Birds don't have the balls to get involved with them, basically. And they make their entrance, and then Hamflett, what do? They run it back. Everyone's loving this. Everyone wants to do it all over again.
Same as it.
And then the cheats, the Brawling Birds, jump them before the bell. Outrageous. Beat the crap out of them. There's a hate breaker. Windsor hits them with a running lariat. They are sandwiched in the middle of the ring and sort of turn around. Oh, bloody hell. No, look behind you. No, look behind you. Wallop. 2 birds, 1 stone. Smashed. Stacked. 1, 2, 3.
I was a bit let down by this, right?
You're not the only one.
Yeah, I know, you've made that perfectly clear, Adam. Here's the thing, right? Action-wise, I'm got a decent amount out of this. I will never not love, as a pro wrestling fan, this dickhead deluded heel getting their crap rocked. And it's always a joy. I think this is both a slight misjudgment and a Tony Khan problem that is fundamental to the core when it comes to his presentation of women's wrestling, right? I think the whole bit is, and I made this clear yesterday, and I think it should have been obvious all along, the bangers, though, you won't get bangers if you get the Inspiration. They're rubbish. Yeah, this is what they were brought in to do. It was blindingly obvious. And even if they had the senseless idea to put them in the ring for 8 minutes at a shot, you would still get an hour and 52 minutes of bangers elsewhere. Calm down. I think AEW, in making this signing, which again, this is the week of Danhausen, the week of perspective, the week of things can change 24 hours later, this still might end up being a good bit. However, initially, I think AEW have overestimated what the AEW audience thinks of this act. The idea is it's meant to be a disgrace that they've signed here. It's where the best wrestle. They don't even wrestle very good. You know, that's the bit. That's the bit.
I just love him. Love that guy.
He's a good guy.
He is.
He's calmed down a little bit, but he is a good guy. That's the bit.
Yeah.
They have been specifically signed as their reputation, as a comedy tag team who can't wrestle. They are going to mine this. They are going to have the good wrestlers steamroll them. And on and on it goes. I think they were possibly expecting this. God, not these. Boo, boo, boo. Oh, thank God, two women who can wrestle tremendously well. Winter and Hater. Oh, God, they've killed them. In less time, and I thought this is quite clever, actually, in less that time than it took them to beat the other kind of like no-name enhancements across Collision and Dynamite.
Becker and Viva Van recently, didn't they? Yeah.
That went 4 minutes, and this went half the time. So
99 seconds.
So I understand all of it. I just think that they've overestimated how, like, you were meant to hate them. These interlopers coming where the best wrestle. There was no really heat for this whatsoever. So that's an error in judgment. It's fine. Probably would have brought them in on a slightly fewer dates deal if I thought that was going to be the reaction, but I digress. I don't know the terms of the deal, actually. Shouldn't they, if there was a slight doubt of maybe people don't get what we're doing here or aren't going to enjoy the catharsis of this idea, like, I know they did the run it back stuff, but like promo time. Like,
Yes.
have them say, well, like, really just lay it on thick. I'm not saying exposition, but lay it on thick. Like, we're here. This is where the best wrestle, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're multi-time champions. Use your kayfabe achievements to give them the sense of delusion, and we're here to take over and, like, really rub your face in the idea of, God, this is what the tag team division is, and then pull the rug. No, it's these. Hater and Windsor, and then you get it. I think they just could have really ramped it up more.
I like this.
I liked it. I liked it. It could have been more.
Is there a slim possibility? I'm worried this is like I'm going too early on this one. That they might have inadvertently Sidgwick noised the Brawling Birds a little bit, and that was part of the reaction here. Like, I would have booked this. I'd have done it pretty much exactly as it played out. I would book it again, and I would do it even shorter than 99 seconds. Let the Inspiration want a rematch. We weren't ready, whatever. You fill the gaps with the promo this time and be like, you know, this is not a professional workplace when they're going on like that, and how could we have possibly been ready? Whatever. I don't know. This should have been more over. This is an on paper, like, open net, and it didn't get that much in the building. And the Brawling Bird, like, was that promo that the Brawling Birds did? Was it charming or annoying as out? You know,
Are we too close because it's a bit Brit Res?
well, I am inbuilt to hate this.
You have a lifelong allergic reaction to British wrestling.
Yeah. Ospreay screwed it all up because he's the best. Like, he's a Cody Rhodes QB1 in waiting, and he's from over here. Right? Like, I didn't even like Bulldog when I was a kid. Like, they already feel like they might have inadvertently.
I think I like Bulldog just fine. It was never my favourite.
No. I came around him a bit. I'm kind of in a place where I think he stinks at the moment, but it'll, you know, the rules can change.
My take on the British Bulldog was he is the best carryable wrestler.
Yeah.
If you look at, like, matches that Owen, Brett, Sean had against him.
It's funny you name those exact
Unbelievable.
wrestlers. I think Diesel's above Bulldog in that, and then you put them together, oh boy. Like, I think Diesel's more carryable and more interesting than the Bulldog. Bulldog kind of makes some weird, thick choices. But someone
Bulldog's
like
got the
92 would
power.
argue. Yeah.
Bulldog's got the power advantage, though, hasn't he?
I know that's more of a carry job. What did you say?
Bulldog's got the power advantage, hasn't he?
Oh, greatly got the power advantage over Diesel.
have the Brawling Bird, like, have they tripped and fallen into the noise
No.
vortex a touch?
It's a little bit like I would
The
have.
noise vortex. Is
Like,
great.
It is a collective term for that
I
section of
will
AEW,
say
isn't it?
the
Like,
presentation is a bit too much.
Yeah.
You lose sight of the fact that they are the powerhouse tandem who are going to kick the piss out of you
yeah.
because it is of more importance to let you know where they were born. Like, it's significantly important that AEW needs you to know where they were born and where they were raised.
I've got a little chip in on this as well, actually, because, you know, when you're on your socials and there's no audio on a video, it's just the video, right?
Yes.
I saw the Brawling Brutes thing. Watch it without the audio. It is insanely annoying. Like, their facial expressions are, like, way, way, way too hammed up and over the top.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at it thinking, I don't even want to click that audio because I don't want to, I know what the, like, maybe that's a British thing. I know what the accents are on the other side.
Yeah.
But it felt like turned up to maybe 12. Even more
It's
than
a
11.
bit caricature, I think. It feels like they are playing characters rather than just being their authentic selves.
Yeah.
Like, the presentation needs a rethink, I think.
Well, this might seem like a awkward comparison now because, well, where are they? And they were controversial when they were hot. But the Hurt Syndicate wouldn't have allowed themselves to be noise vortexed. They had a very, often it was the detriment of other things, but they had a very clear idea of what their characters were and what they would compromise and what they wouldn't. And they were like hard kickers. You know, that was,
I will say, though, they had that WWE ingrained mentality of they've had their brains shaped by being a big deal in the other place, and they walk in with that attitude and that clout.
yeah.
You know,
I suppose I'm
there's
just
a
thinking
certain-
from monstering wrestlers.
I know what you mean,
act,
but I
yeah.
don't blame them for that whatsoever. Like, the pushback, it's like you're getting on TV,
Yeah.
and you don't have that clout. It's one of those where you are in that position where it's like, oh, it's an opportunity for me and all the rest of it.
I suppose like the actors knew as well. There's time, and they've got Wembley in mind with all of this. I just like overness is extremely subjective with every single wrestler, isn't it? You can watch, you can laugh at a promo online, then it gets nothing in the building, whatever. Yeah, I thought this would get more. Everything on paper, the way I would have booked the exact same thing. Like we've talked in the office about how exactly you use the inspiration in AEW, and this was it. Don't know, just it was flatter than I think it probably should have been for how wrestling works normally.
Well, speaking of squashers, we got Hangman Page versus Marty Snow, and in the time it's taken me to read that sentence out, that was the match. It was a running boot and a buckshot lariat for the 1, 2, 3 because it was post-match here. Page takes the mic.
Wouldn't have booked someone called Marty S, that's for sure.
Yeah, I did think that.
Oh God, yeah, a rib
He's going to do.
ribbon on a square. Ain't funny.
Going to have to do to MJF what his parents should have done years ago and teach him a lesson. In Texas Death, he says, I have no conscience. I'll rip, tear, and only let you lie when I'm finished with you. Yeah, you're the world champion. That won't scare him. But seeing as you were itching to punch someone in the head earlier with a diamond ring, why don't you put it back on? We'll see what we can do at Revolution. Out comes MJF. And he said it's bad enough to be in a C-tier town like El Paso. And says,
Did you say it like that?
No. But he does remind Page that he just whooped his boy Kevin Knight's ass. And he says he's going to have to hear Page whine at next week's press conference as well. But as he says that, Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis, and Kazuchika Okada blindside Page. MJF is loving all of this, of course. Davis takes out Page with the bounce-back lariat. Jet Speed run out with chairs to clear the ring. Out comes some of the Don Callis family. And Callis, to a chorus of boos, says he's got something important to say. He says he sees 3 champions and some entitled millennial punks. You've got Page coming after the world title, Knight for the international title, and Bayley for the TNT title. Callis hates someone who's greedy. But couldn't help but hear you guys on Collision say you'll defend the trios titles any place, any time, right? Well, I've got it clear with Tony Khan. Jet Speed Radio are going to put these titles on the line tonight against Davis and Proto Carter. And after all that, it's all going to belong to the Don Callis family. And Excalibur confirms, yes, Tony Khan has booked that for the main event of the evening.
Let's not take the piss with these impromptus, but it is something that I don't know the answer because I'm not booking, I'm not paid to book it, and it's above my pay grade, right? But there is that staid Dynamite formula where you kind of know who's going to win every match and you know every match in advance. I'm softening on my impromptu match stance because I've done it before and they've never taken the piss, okay? And it's one of those where it'd be very ludicrous to think that Hangman Page versus Marty S was going to go 8 minutes and you had more TV time, but you can half reconcile it with my very, very pedantic thoughts on the layout of a wrestling TV program.
He's gone drunk on Standby already, hasn't he?
Yeah,
It's like the money match from a few months back. It's
Standby is it's 4 years old as a concept now.
Yes.
It is. So,
But there's been a real...
I love it.
Like,
He loves it. He gets his fixations. I get fixations as well. I get it.
I also like the idea of, Tony, what are you doing? 2 women's matches and one of the main events. Great point. Let's put a trio style match on.
I mean, where's the lie? Where's the lie? Fair's fair. Hangman Page was giving me the ick a little bit the other week with his ellipsis.
Flesh. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, he sounded a bit like Terry Funk there. Let's not do that again.
Let's not fall back into that one.
Let's not derail the entire podcast.
Hanging off my body, cactus.
He's done it. There goes the pod.
It's not. I'm going to keep it together. Hangman Page, more bass than I thought because he slotted in a Doom reference here. Rip and tear to Doom reference.
Oh.
God, Doom's mint, man. I might pick it up tonight. I play it again.
Played Forza for the first time yesterday.
Fun?
Brilliant.
Oh, it's great.
It's so great.
I love
Never cared about driving games. It's so great.
I love a racing game for like 3 days.
Yeah.
I love it. It's one of those joys. Big fan of this. I thought Hangman Page did well.
Yeah. It's all right.
Come on, Dr. Fed, an impromptu match. You dare not.
No, I
criticize
love that bit. Love that bit.
Thank you.
Hangman Page is not on the level of the devil. He cannot, the fate of AEW rests on this result, man. He cannot beat MJF. Not by a long chalk. Also,
Don't say that out loud because then they'll start talking about the fate of AEW again.
that's a good point. Did we just see,
No one talk about the fake
No,
AEW.
it's
I
doing,
mentioned
it's doing
it once.
just fine.
with this Dynamite, did we just see Hangman Page's first bit of post-Revs business in having to align with the Death Riders in their feud with the Don Callis family ahead of the eventual multi-mans? And like, that's an interesting, unexpected turn of events considering that Hangman's career's in the bin.
Essentially in the balance, yeah.
It's a great shout. We see a sit-down interview or sit-down conference, let's say, between FTR and the Young Bucks. Brandon Cutler's there filming, we see. Stokely gets rolled in, but Renee's there to say, look, don't forget, we all signed a no-contact clause. And Harwood talks about the 3 greatest tag teams in this generation, the Briscoes, FTR, and the Young Bucks, and they brag about how they've beaten the other 2 so many times. Jackson, though, says this time it's way more personal. You put your hands on our family, you pile drove our brother. Revolution's going to be about revenge. And it's taken everything in their bodies not to kick the living crap out of them, didn't say crap, right now. But they'll wait until Revolution, their hometown, in front of their families, and leave them in a pile of piss and blood. And a pearl-clutching Cash Wheeler here. Oh, well, you're clearly not mature enough to handle this professionally.
Yeah, I like that.
We should leave.
It's such a dick move there.
And they go, we did agree to that whole no contact thing, but didn't say anything about Brandon Cutler, so he gets chinned by Dax Harwood before they leave.
I thought this was... I'm hyped for this match. I thought they'd done such a fun and just good, proper wrestling build with it. Bit of a misstep for me, this, for 2 reasons. One, I'll tell you what I did like. I like Cash Wheeler. He's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant here. The Young Bucks, right, I wish they'd understand they're trying to sell a pay-per-view match, right? I get it. I just think it went too far. You're going to be in a pool of your piss and your own blood, and I'm going to rip your limbs off. It's like, come on. You're my favorite tag team ever, but you are the Young Bucks.
Yes.
You know, I don't think you've ever done that in your life. You've been in, like, total carnage, like, insane. Like, literally insane matches, but, like, you're not Jon Moxley, and that was, like, kind of a Jon Moxleyan turn of phrase. I wish they just said, to super kick your head off. I would buy that. Yeah. I would buy that. I thought Matt Jackson, and he's prone to do this. I love him, but he's prone to do this. Went a bit overacting, dare I say. You know, he's got it in him, and he did
As
it
baby
here.
faces, they just can't.
I know.
He overacts, and Nick's too like inadvertently flippant about everything in the
Yeah,
world.
I know.
That as faces, this specific way to build a match just doesn't work for them. Does it? We've seen there's so much evidence. I get why you would do it, but
you have to do it, but you shouldn't do it at the same time. So I just get in the ring a little bit with this sort of thing. And another thing, right? And this pisses me off because you're presenting yourself as the the big time alternative. I have to say, this crowd and the way it was shot, we were scared about the WrestleTix seat map. It looked incredible, sounded incredible. So, could they have picked a more rinky-dink room to sit in and have this? Like, I'm serious. Every little detail matters and adds up, right? It looks rinky-dink when they do the average backstage promo. It's just the backdrop. I don't like it. Looks cheap. Looks second rate.
Any old conference room, wasn't it?
And like, if you make sure there's a room fitting enough for what a big match I'm being told this is. When you saw the fire alarm, oh, piss off, man! It just looked like it could be MLW. This, not even TNA. This looked like it could be MLW.
You seen Clark Connor's vignette from Collision? Murray showed me it this morning.
Oh, great!
I'm raging. Like, NXT hasn't spent like that in 2 years. Like, there's money spent on that. That was probably why I'm like, out of the way, you Hangman Page. We got a better one.
Yeah.
Like, then we got an Andrade one, actually, if anything. He can do what you can do and what Andrade does at the same time. He's absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. The look,
wrestling fans are so fickle.
Yeah,
they're right when they say it.
It's recency bias.
I know.
And enjoying the business. But, yeah, they're spending money again. Like, in some respects, in the right places. So I think that's a reasonable criticism to be able to. Does this look good enough? No, it's not.
No.
It's like this is a $1 billion industry.
Else,
you know,
or I don't know. It looks rinky dink.
I did like discussion of greatest tag teams ever with FTR's greatest rivalries in the conversation. Considering what else we got later on.
Do you want to talk about that here?
Yes, please.
Might as well. Because so later on, where was this? Was this?
Always a nice touch to keep the Briscoes in the conversation. Dax is awesome with that.
So this was just before the main event, after the women's title match. Renee welcomes Tommaso Ciampa to ringside. Says sort of what are your plans now after losing the TNT title. Ciampa said, Carl Fletcher.
Who's Fletcher?
Carl Fletcher.
No, Carl Fletcher is, mate.
He's taken Sylvie and turned it into Pinky. And then he's hiding behind the Don Callis family. If he has to play the game, he'll play it. He'll earn his rematch, even if that means facing Mark Briscoe again. He didn't come to AEW for instant classics. He came to be a top guy. Say their name and they appear. Here's FTR. They come out. Someone say top guys.
That's wrestling, isn't it? Yeah. Sadly.
Harwood.
They'll just magically come next to each other.
Gets right up in the grill of Tommaso Ciampa and then hugs him. Saying, hey, we're only here to welcome an old friend to AEW. He said he's heard the talk of top guys. You know, you do that, surround yourself with other top guys. And they invite Ciampa to join them and take over this company. Ciampa said, I hated your guts 10 years ago, and I still do today. Stokely pipes up. He says, be quiet down there. The grown-ups are talking. Harwood said, don't talk to Big Stoke that way. You got a problem with Stoke, we got a problem with you. Ciampa said, all right, well, fair enough. I know you had no contact with the Bucks, but nothing to do with me. He punches Dax Harwood. He gets held back by Cash Wheeler, does Dax. But then simply tells Ciampa he'll see him on Collision.
If I may paraphrase the late, great John Virgo with his iconic snooker call, where's the Gargano going? Oh, my God. If Gargs makes the jump to run this back.
Here's the thing, right? I am certain Revival versus DIY was incredible.
Yeah.
I watched it. I held that opinion at the time. I'm telling you now, like, when I think of the worst of pro wrestling, a smile, just pure schadenfreude, or a genuine rage, not befitting a 40-year-old man. And I think of everything that I've ever hated. And I think of everything that was ever counterproductive, or like everything that was just recklessly thrown away because some dickhead, idiot booker was stupid. Or just, I honestly think one final beat, April 2020, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa might be the worst thing I've ever seen. In and of itself, it is this absolutely atrocious, it's like taking itself way too seriously, awful experience of the most forced, epic, awful acting. Everything I kind of hate about modern pro wrestling encapsulated in one pathetic, masturbatory, hour-long presentation, right? It goes beyond that. There are people, and like, people were genuinely saying at one time or another, well, no, not one time or another, at the time, April 2018. My God. And this is, I saw enough of this online. I'm not making it up to make a point. People genuinely thought Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano was it the 2018 New Orleans takeover?
Yep. And people in the immediate aftermath
was better than Austin versus Brett at WrestleMania 30. And we finally have a new best WWE match ever. That was enormous. People thought it was the best thing they'd ever seen. People were talking about it like, yeah, God, Carter Omega's great and stuff, but this NXT stuff's just as good. How is one thing aged in the other? It's the most poorly aged, considered to be great material in wrestling ever. So much of it has to do with that April 2020 match, that cinematic thing that they had. Like, I described it as like drinking cement because I was so full on anything they ever had to do ever again afterwards. The biggest ick in pro wrestling history, if it's not the worst thing that's ever happened creatively, right? It's certainly the biggest ick because after that, I'm thinking, I don't want to see anything either of you do ever again. Like, obviously, it's a bit of hyperbole. I mean, I've just praised Fletcher versus Ciampa to the absolute hilt. Like, I really like some of the stuff DIY did last year involving ladders in the Fed, you know? But my God, it is an actual going concern. It killed them. It killed them.
Not just them. Like when most brands, companies, whatever, die, it's like a death by 1,000 cuts thing. You like to think it's just this one finger poking team WCW, but it's always more. It's always more. That match is like Jack Nicholson with the axe and the shine, isn't it? Oh no, it's dead. Like, and
Honestly.
there is nothing that this brand will ever do now to recover itself unless you 2.0 it and like properly start again. It limped on for the year and a half. It was like, no, it died. It died
It
there.
is the
like
definition of a parody of itself, that match.
Yeah.
One final beat. If you haven't seen it, I do not recommend it, even though we've kind of made it sound like the Forbidden Closet of mystery.
So you're not that buzzed about the prospect of
No.
Gargano.
Thing is, Gargano in another promotion will not have the same icks. He'll have his own different icks, but not the same ones.
It's a very notable jump if he jumps specifically, isn't it? In light of what we know about, well, let's say, what he gets designed on his clothes for Hall of Fame weekends and the like.
That's the thing, like he's an absolute bootleg. I just say it. It's Triple H's big, massive schnoz fashioned into a pocketry for a suit.
If he jumps, like...
I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it. He absolutely licks that boot like a dehydrated dog lapping at the water bowl on a hot summer's day.
Should we do that again? Sorry.
With the boot. Johnny Gargano is a mark for the Fed.
Go fetch the boot, Johnny.
Anyway, what followed the
Shawn Michaels sweet music. What is over there?
what followed the sit down with the FT on the books was a Continental title eliminator. It was Jon Moxley versus
Will you take
Hechicero.
Gargano for a walk, please?
We have Moxley early on mocking. How dare you?
It's one of those where you won't know this because you had a greyhound.
Yeah, I had a dog for about a year.
Okay, did the greyhound where they have this like sort of telepathic wavelength with just the owner, where you don't actually have to say the word walk.
Yeah.
You just at a certain point of day have to give them the old. Let's imagine Gargano's head.
Triple H, the first dog
Where are
owner.
we going? Performance center?
First dog owner that hasn't turned to its dog and gone, stay.
The match will be probably incredible if they have it.
What? Yeah, it will be. I'd like to see that run back in all seriousness.
Surely this isn't happening. The dude is literally on TV right now.
It's fun to think about.
He might know his contract's coming to a close, and that's why he's moping all the time.
Yeah, that's why it's a shoot. He's actually just driving the buildings. He just find a place to lie down and say, hey.
Because he has to leave his beloved Fed.
Yeah. I want it to be unreal.
God, if he's one of those, I can still wrestle. I need to go to AEW to prove it, guys. It's like, Jesus Christ, we got it. We're sorting 2018.
DIY versus Cope and Christian.
Ooh. What are you doing, mate?
It's fun to think about stuff, isn't it?
Let's get back to Mox and Hechicero, shall we? Hechicero flies off the top with a clothesline to take us to a break early on.
God, Cope and Gargano interacting.
Mox hit a superplex when we come back from the
I'm
double
starting to
down.
like the dark. I was born in it.
Born in the dark.
It's Dark Knight Rises or
Bane
something.
in it,
Yeah. Still, though, he probably was.
Oh, that's part of me.
Nearly adopted the dog.
I was born in it.
With great.
Where are we on this? Mox superplex after a break, double down. They trade sleepers. Mox transition to a cross arm breaker, but Hechicero gets him with a double leg submission. Mox gets the ropes. There's a slugfest between the two of them. Hechicero lowers the straps, dares Moxley to hit him, but he pops Moxley as he goes for that with a leaping kick and a corner knee. Takes too long though, and Moxley hits him with a huge lariat. Hechicero though counters a Death Rider. Rolling head scissors gets a near fall. Charged in the ropes, but Moxley moves, and Hechicero lands right on his head. Curb stomp. Hechicero flips Moxley off, and he gets hit with a huge knee and the Death Rider for the 1-2-3. Mox trash talks the Don Callis family afterwards until Konosuke Takeshita comes down to chase him off and point at the Revolution sign.
Stop doing that. Stop pointing at signs. That's probably your favorite bit of the entire thing. This was good to very good for what it was. I was half expecting like something really unique, like a challenge that Moxley would take upon himself. I wanted to see, like, I think this is so overstated, by the way. The genius of Royal Rumble 2017 was when AJ Styles and John Cena never left the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I'd liked it if they'd rarely left the mat and barely lifted a strike here. Here's something sacrilegious considering, like, where he's going, and an AEW fan or critic at this point, you're not allowed to praise Chris Jericho. We should be praising the good God Almighty that he's finally gone. There was a Mexican submission-based match that Jon Moxley's had on Dynamite. It was way more distinctive and better than this, and it was the Quake by the Lake Larvae stuff. I just thought this was a bit, it was just kind of there. Good, but
By
just
the numbers,
kind of
wasn't
there.
it? Yeah, Mox is in a bit of trouble, then, Death Rider.
I just thought Mox would have really, really, really found a lot of joy in just getting down and dirty with Hechicero and going into that sort of strange labyrinth that is his submission game, and I didn't really get it.
Well, it's more than El Clon versus El John, but like,
No, that match was better than this.
I thought this was better. Like, but not by much. But then it's a low bar. Like these Jon Moxley matches, it's a really low bar. Like I said this last week, or maybe it was the week before. There's one every week. Takeshita comes out and points at the sign. I can see that being annoying and not looking right in AEW. But that's what all of this has been for. Like, now he's beating Hechicero. He's going to fight Takeshita. Like, that was set up in the last...
If you think about it, though, if he beats all of these members of the Don Callis family...
I thought of you when they flashed up the collision thing, Takeshita versus, I think, Claudio. I was like, wait a second.
This match was built in the closing seconds of the last match. It was fine. It was like, great. Actually, I can see why they've held back quite a lot there. I want the elongated version, no time limit. Brilliant. That's a nice match to build a match book, and even if I found the Grand Slam match a little bit dry as a result, but I was up for it. This has been a literal waste of time. Like, we were there.
Hey, we got to see Bald Utah later.
Yeah.
I was happy about that.
Yeah, different storyline, mate.
Sorry, yeah, that was...
Different storyline, different needs.
Yeah.
That was them just yelling about the Don Callis family.
Moxley needs to be stopped again.
And he
needs to be stopped.
He always needs to be stopped.
He does.
He is really over.
Yeah. People that go to the buildings.
But you said, when I questioned your fandom of AJ Lee, who's not very good, and it's a WWE psyop, and she doesn't get the reactions after that first slop moment, who could have called that? You said you just like watching over wrestlers.
Yeah. No, people in the buildings glad to see Jon Moxley, and I cannot fault that. And evidently, he is able to use that
by your own logic
in his weekly PowerPoint of why he must have one of these matches. I can't fault that in the slightest.
But I'm with you, really. I'm just yanking you.
Yeah, it's because I would imagine the 4 figures and never above he will manage to draw at these weekly TV tapings are thrilled with it. Like, it still remains very him. He's not betraying anything, really. Feels like he's betraying that one segment that we all loved where everybody was like, what's happened to Jon Moxley and the Death Riders?
Yeah.
Feels like he's betrayed the shit out of that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, this is
sure has
consistent, isn't it? But I hate him again. Fix that.
Brody King, speaking of hate, comes out and calls out Swerve, saying, I could be on like Swerve, standing on the announce table talking about how dangerous I am. Everyone knows I'm the most dangerous man in AEW. I'll prove it to you tonight, Swerve. Prince Nana walks out laughing, says, we hear you. Are you sure you want to go down this rabbit hole, though? King's like, shut up. Bring his ass out here. He says, okay, here's the real most dangerous man in AEW, Swerve Strickland. He keeps gesticulating to the entrance where we can kind of see what's coming here. Yeah, Swerve jumps King from behind, but nails him with a chain, hits him with a house call, then wraps the chain around his throat, pulls it over the top rope, and barks at him, mocking him, obviously. And whilst he's holding him up and choking the life out of poor Brody King, Swerve says, this is how you chain a dog up. He's had to send a message to Kenny Omega. Now this one's for Brody King. It's one thing to claim you're the most dangerous man in AEW. It's another to do it. Everyone in AEW is on notice. I'll see you at Revolution. Just a reminder, I've hung a man in LA before. Bandido rushes out to save him, and Swerve and Nana make their retreat.
This is good. My investment in the match, I don't think can be sort of peaked by whatever they do angle and promo-wise. I've got a horrible feeling it's just going to be kind of sludgy and drab. And I said yesterday, if you're going to give anyone the Mike Awesome template, give that to Brody King. Might as well, because I just feel like I just don't. I think it's going to be growing pains. Again, I'm using that term for Brody King as a singles guy, because it just, unless you give him loads of shortcuts, it's just weird to see him do the things you have to do in a long wrestling match, like sell and all the rest of it. There was another reason why I'm not so sure about this as well, but it's fine. It might over-deliver on my low expectations.
It's weird.
Great wrestlers individually. Oh, here's the other thing I wanted to bring up quickly. All this stuff about I'm the most dangerous man, I'm the most dangerous man. You kind of have to do a bit of a violent bloodbath, but then Texas Death exists for that.
Yes.
That was the exact point I was going to make. It's the right story, but is this the wrong show? Because, is this going to be booked as a weapons match? And if so, they've done it before in AEW pay-per-views, and they've either made it work or they haven't. It's on the wrestlers almost on the night, is it? But maybe that's by design, because if they do make it weapons-based, and we see what we just saw here with the chain, as we've seen with Kenny Omega, that in itself is quite a nice overlap with how big the Hangman Page match is. I really love that Hangman Page and Swerve are still technically on terms, despite what Swerve is doing. That's going unspoken, isn't it? And Swerve is back to immediately gloating about the damage he did. So he's starting to unravel from we've realised that it ruins our lives when we fight each other. Yeah. So it's quite interesting to see Swerve doing that himself, while Hangman might be kind of forced into it if he finds himself out the title picture. I still think there's a lot of nice overlapping details here, but that exact thing flashed up. The more the violence gets discussed, the more you're going to have to make this a weapons match. And then we're back to that issue of excess. And, the Bucks even did it on the show. They're kind of been talking in terms of violence and all that. It'll catch one of the matches out inevitably.
Then we got the AEW Women's World Title match, Thekla versus Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa slapped the taste out of her mouth at the opening bell. They brawl. Thekla stumbles to the outside. Rosa hits her with some body blocks, one off the apron, one off the barricade. But she takes too much time posing with her crowd, obviously, and Thekla flies in with a big boot off the apron and a double stomp to the back outside. Takes control as we go to a break. When we come back, Rosa fires back with a thrust kick, staggers Thekla. There's some corner leaping lariats. Rosa hit her double knees and her charging drop kick in the ropes, and her Northern Lights gets a near fall. She goes up top, but Thekla meets her up there. They trade some forearms. We get the spider superplex, and then the spider pose as she gets down from Thekla. She gets her spear, but she picks Rosa up at 2 count. She wants to beat her up some more. Nails her with right hands, but all of a sudden she's in trouble because Rosa sidesteps the curb stomp, cutter, fire thunder driver. Great 2 count. Thekla, though, escapes a powerbomb and bridges to avoid a charging Thunder Rosa, who eats another spear. 2 curb stomps. 1, 2, 3. Post-match outcome. The Sisters of Sin to applaud Thekla. Statlander walks out, very stern face with her sunglasses on. Security there to hold them all back. And in amongst all this, Tekla's like, well, I might as well use this time. 2 more curb stomps to Rosa. Split second, I thought, oh, God, Stat's going to get her up and kill her. But she didn't. She just checked on her as Thekla and her sisters bailed.
Took a bit of a longish time for me to get into it, but piss and vinegar, committed violence throughout. I feel like they were always, in retrospect, going to have to work the fans into this match because El Paso location aside, Thunder Rosa's not been on TV, and she's far removed from where she was at as a star and a pushed character in 2021, 2022. So yeah, she doesn't have that same sort of like player aura as she once did. So it probably was going to take a while to get fans into it, but they managed, and it continues to be a good reign for Thekla.
That reign is, of course, toxic.
To the core!
Like, Tekla's an opposite Jon Moxley for me. Like, I can acknowledge that the work might be a bit tighter and better in the Moxley matches, but like, Thekla chews scenery to the point where I could watch her for double the time she's out there, like on offense, but now to the point where she's like the defending champion that has like there's way bigger stakes attached to her matches. I just think she's a brilliant performer that is making it look, when the wrestlers make it look effortless, it's so easy then to get involved, isn't it?
She performs every second.
Yeah.
You know, she completely gets what it's like to go out there and just be that character.
It's not like in a way where she's like eating Thunder Rosa up, but, and I really don't mean this in like to sound as disrespectful it's going to, but like you could lift Thunder Rosa out, put another wrestler in, and it would still kind of be the Thekla show, but that's the project, so it should be. The Statlander thing, I was going to use the word interesting, but I'd be lying. But you kind of want to, well, it's more character development that again feels, this is so consistent with Chris Statlander's run, that feels like unfinished or unclear. And then, and I understand that Chris Statlander has like quite a strong fan base, that if something goes really well, they'll kind of get a bit like, see, but I'm not so sure it's ever, I think sometimes it's a little bit by luck rather than judgment with Statlander. They're going to rematch her with Thekla at Revolution, I would think. And the match might be good, but there's no way she's winning, you know? Like, so she's kind of doing a bit of character development to set herself up for the next thing, because she's going to take another loss.
I don't know if I'm allowed to speak about this, so I'm just going to move past it. Thekla and Stacks. I've seen something, but again, I don't know if that relates to something on Collision. So
okay. If
I speak, I'm in big trouble.
Yes.
So I'm not saying anything. But yeah.
From the one Collision fan.
Speaking of rematches, we get footage Jack Perry pinning Ricochet in Mile High Madness, of course, last week. It says always when it's fair, always beat you, Ricochet. Soon it's going to be time to finish the war. Ricochet said he's the most fighting champion in AEW, and if you want a war, you've got it.
I always forget that these two exist, really. Not good considering where Ricochet was. But every time he's in there, it's really, really, really good. So, too many guys.
Yeah. Then we get the Ciampa bit with the FTR. And then Timeless Toni Storm gets a cameraman to follow her to the doctors, who's checking on Orange Cassidy. He said that he and Darby Allin will fight the dogs at Revolution, also next week and all the weeks after that. She says, "My darling Clementine, that was well said. If there are war dogs, then the Death Riders aren't far behind. And if you aren't behind, then there's no better behind to be behind than my behind. If you're a nicotine-chewing Nancy that wants her lips twisted and her face fisted, you got it." Referencing Marina Shafir talking about her earlier in the Baldy Utah bit.
Yeah. Toni Storm, where she was.
Very impressive linguistic flourish.
Yes.
I had it written down there, and I was like,
yeah.
I
think it's Jon Moxley's fault. I really truly believe that. Like, I flagged this up ages ago, and it was when Darby Allin had his last bit of business to take care of with Gabe Kidd, and it was ultra violent. Literally a segment after the Death Riders had been like situational baby faces. We're still in that. I think it's like it's overlap now. It's starting to hurt Toni Storm. She's in this proper feud with Marina Shafir that has been kicking around for like a couple of months. Marina Shafir is this like kind of wacky baby face accomplice of Jon Moxley. Like, you're asking too much of that character. I think
it's a really good point that Jon Moxley's ongoing obsessive quest with a certain precious metal is now having impact on other players involved in AEW. I love gold.
Well, speaking of gold, it was on the line in the main
let
event.
me tell you about your gold member. Toni Storm can have that next week.
Yeah.
Nominate.
Yeah. Dipped it in gold.
Sorry about what Stack said about your mum yesterday, by the way, Hamflett.
NXT review.
Yeah. Just saying just the tip was a reminder of it. Yeah.
Probably true.
Trios titles on the line. It was
main event of the evening.
Yes, main event of the evening. Jet Set Rodeo, Hangman Page, Kevin Knight, and Speedball Mike Bailey versus the Don Callis family. Nice to see Aussie Open back together. Carl Fletcher and Mark Davis. Although, yes, So was this Aussie Open and Kazuchika Okada or Proto Okada and Mark Davis? Awkward, isn't it? But lovely to see them all together again.
Very
Wild.
good AEW to not have a perfect name that matches what they love all that, don't they? Like
Proto Okada Davis. There you go. It was honestly just for a split second because they had Bailey in there as well, and I was like, look at our boys go. WCPW. Carl Fletcher and Mark Davis look a little bit different.
Yes.
I remember.
Protopen. Carter. That's Aussie Open.
Aussie Opada.
Aussie Opada. Thank you.
Sid, you weren't looking, but his little face.
I know, I saw
as
it.
he was trying to come up with something. God bless him.
It's good, isn't it? It's good. Think about doing all that.
Jet Set Radio. Rush the
Seems
ring
better than that.
at the bell.
Shut up, man. We haven't got much time.
Sorry.
I've got about 2 sentences on this. I really enjoyed it, but I've got 2 sentences on it.
Sound like an adventure. We haven't got much time.
Mike Bailey goes for a springboard moonsault, but wallop. There's Mark Davis with a right hand. Fletcher pounces. Bailey's isolated, but he makes the hot tag to Page, who just runs wild, obviously. And in the end, Jet Set Rodeo deliver a trifecta of 10 punches in the corner to the members of the Don Callis family. But Knight was caught by Fletcher on the top and launched onto the guardrail to take us to a break. When we come back, Aussie Open take out Page and Bailey before they can make a tag. There's a charging boot and a sliding forearm by Fletcher and Davis. Okada hits a huge... They work really well as a team. There's a huge dropkick for a near fall. But Knight hits a standing dropkick on Okada, kicks free, and finally makes the tag to Mike Bailey, who hits a huge springboard moonsault to the floor onto Fletcher. Okada wants a Rainmaker, but he eats a wheel kick to the dome. It's all reset at this point. Mark Davis comes in. He looked huge in here, by the way. Got a great ass. Forgot to mention that. He hits an...
It's important that you do.
Yeah, hits an Insiguri. Tries his bounce back lariat, but gets spiked with a dead eye. Fletcher breaks up the pin, though. Fletcher and Bailey tried countering each other's kicks. Fletcher wants a lawn dart, but Bailey counters into a poison rana and a springboard moonsault to the floor. Anyway, Knight makes the tag, goes up top. Page is getting set for a buckshot lariat, but he gets pulled off by MJF, pulled to the floor, who nails him with the beautiful diamond ring. And Knight jumps off the top to be hit with a Rainmaker by Okada. And Davis hits a spike pile driver for the 1-2-3. The Don Callis family win the trios titles.
I mean, I don't know how much I'm going to remember this at the end of the year, but in the moment, it was a thrilling party match where like there was just so much great chemistry, like that bit with Speedball and Fletcher, the moonsault. Oh God, like I like it when, and I always say this, but when a commentator, and I don't usually like it when they do this, when they try too hard, but when they sort of involuntarily mark out.
Yeah.
Like Excalibur was like, Jesus Christ, you see the way they timed that spot? It's essentially what he said.
It's elbowing the people next
It's
to him.
essentially what he said.
Alan
but-
Partridge on football.
Did you striker? And another. Honestly, like the way that he's like, you see the timing on that? It was class. That like if it's involuntary,
Yeah.
you get swept up in it just like they do. So people probably like this a bit more than me, but I'm okay with that.
Good booking. Like, the belts are relatively meaningless, so you can make this change. It does help the match in the moment, even if bigger picture it won't impact the Don Callis family, one wouldn't think.
Purely visually, it does make it cleaner, yeah, in terms of walking into Revolution, because I always find it weird. It's like, this person's fighting for a title.
Yep.
Ignore that title they've got on their shoulder,
He's
by the
got to
way.
have nothing left, and if he loses, that's part of it. Meanwhile, like, as belt collectors, the Don Callis family's got so many wrestlers in it that if they haven't got a load of belts, then
They're going to freebird that bitch.
of course they can. Yeah.
Oh, right, I do that.
Like, there's so
Give
many.
me Rocky Romero for the rest of the season for me.
If you like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that boy.
I'd almost advocate.
One thing's completely changed.
Imagine Rocky Romero in a Freebirds Trios title defense against Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, but we actually like all of that.
Don't put them together anymore.
No, but I'm saying,
Not for another 2 years. At
Oh, I
least.
see what you mean. Yeah, you just wanted a Kenny Omega spot with Romero, but he's saying, I get it.
but this are the things that we
Watch it
historically
back.
would hate.
Don't encourage them to get back together. What are we doing here? Everything's going great with them.
Oh, I'll have one more. No.
I've always been a Rocky Romero guy. What can I say? I'm always putting him in situations. Yeah, this was the right call. Again, I think there might be more to the Kevin Knight thing. Who knows? And Hangman Page being reduced to having like this Revolution main event being even more desperate than it already is for him is obviously the right play as well.
Yeah, I mean, poor Kevin Knight, what a rough evening he had. Was he strapped up as well, wasn't he? So I suppose he does have
He
an
has the
out.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
Still, though,
I didn't consider that. I didn't
Curious.
consider that. But let us know your thoughts on AEW Dynamite in the comments section below or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch, so you can follow all four of us, sort of. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
HamflettX@gmail.com. I'm also on Cameo.
follow Michael Sidgwick at
Sidgwick.
You can follow our producer Adam Nicholas at
I always like it when you've been getting into a podcast, Wilbs, and your little shoulder strap comes down.
I
Oh,
am.
nice.
You look dead slutty. I like
That's slut
that
boy.
bad boy. At it's Adam Nicholas.
You can follow me at Adam
Don't take it
Wilbourn.
away.
Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. As I said, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts, including over the next few days at least this sit down between the two of you that I'm very much looking forward to.
Oh yeah.
Face to face.
No, this
Probably
is
send up a green on part of and moving on some questions. Yeah. Tune in.
Build it up. You.
Okay, come on. I'll light the people.
this has been the Dynamite Review. My thanks to Hamflett, Sidgwick, to Nicholas. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.